Hey everyone, it is High here with another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. In this video, my question to you, Akatsuki Bandai, why are you holding back? We're going to be discussing and breaking down Strength Janemba, the brand new EZA on the JP version of the game. So with that, let's go ahead and dive right in. Shoutouts to the Dokkan Wiki and of course Goresh for the early translation. I'll go ahead and do this breakdown here. Let's make this a little bit bigger here. Card art is still fantastic, right? You gotta love the card art. But let's look at the unit in of itself. So this is the Evil Incursion Super Janemba Extreme Strength unit. This is a 120% Neo God, meaning it was 120% leader skill for Extreme Strength. Now it's 130% across the board with Extreme Strength, Ki plus 3, HP and attack and defense 130%, or a Super Strength secondary leader skill and Ki plus 3, HP and attack and defense 90%. So leader skill there, it's not as important, but if you do want to run an Extreme Strength 130%, it is viable now with these incoming EZAs for the Neo Gods. But so far for the Neo Gods, maybe besides like Super 17, which is amazing, it's lacking a little bit, right? We could see a little bit better. So that's the question there is, why are you holding back, Akatsuki and Bandai? Let's make these units incredible, because if you're just going to shatter the game and break the game in the 6-year anniversary, let's just break these units as well, especially for a Janemba unit. And I'll tell you why my feelings is important and my thoughts is important for a Janemba to be more relevant. So the super attack here is Rakshas's Claw. I don't know if I said that right, tongue twister there. It causes immense damage to enemy and massively lowers defense, which is a minus 80% debuff for 3 turns toward the enemy. But I do always want to point out, this has an immense damage super attack multiplier, which is the highest multiplier in the game. It beats out a SA25 LR as well, Mega Colossal. Immense damage, SA15 does the higher SA multiplier. For some reason, don't know why, but it is. So anytime you see immense damage EZA, it's going to be really, really strong. So the passive skill is where I think everyone's kind of scratching their heads. It's like, man, could they have done better? Is this all kind of scenario? I think that's kind of the instant view on this. So the passive skill is Beyond Space, attack and defense 100%, and we're going to compare this to Janemba, by the way, and how similar this unit is to Janemba, and they could have done a lot more, I think, and made it a little bit more unique than what we see here right now. So attack and defense 100%, guards against all attacks, that's a Janemba thing, right? Just like attack effective against all types is a Gogeta thing, Janemba is guard all attacks. Medium chance of 30% chance of evading enemy's attack, including super attack, plus an additional chance of evading enemy's attack, including super attack, 10% with each attack evaded in the same turn. So that's one thing that's different. It's a little bit unique. But unlike UI Goku, where you would keep the buff throughout the fight, Janemba loses that buff. It only can happen in that same turn. So definitely would have been broken if you would have kept that, but it wouldn't have been broken if they would have said like something like plus an additional chance of evading enemy's attack 10% up to 30% with each evaded in the same turn, and just kept it at a 60% chance to evade. That wouldn't have been too bad, but it is unlimited. If you get if you dodge like 5 times, you'll get a 50% increase of boost there, so you'll have basically 80% boost of or 80% chance of dodging, which is of course extremely high. So since you don't have a cap there, I guess it can be really strong, but I think a cap of 30 and you keep it for the duration of the fight would be more valuable. So it's a very interesting dynamic there, and generally speaking, you're probably going to run this on the first position so you can max out that opportunity to dodge. So anyway, the link skills is big bad bosses, a shocking speed, metamorphosis, brutal beatdown, nightmare, fear and faith, and fierce battle, just like Int Janemba. And then categories is the biggest issue with all Janembas, and it makes me sad because there's only 3 categories for this unit for Int Janemba, for Strength Janemba, and pretty much all Janembas. And that's a travesty. That's an issue because we're in the category meta for a couple of years now, and only having this unit being playable in 3 different categories, because yeah, I guess you can run it on a mono team, a mono strength team, things of that nature, but you want that 150%, 170% buff for this unit here. So most likely you're going to run it on a strength cooler team in transformation boost, but it would be nice to have a couple more categories for Janemba. I don't know what those categories would be, but still, I'm just, you know, kind of venting here for Janemba. So the stats, on the other hand, is something to celebrate because the stats are really, really good. So the stats here are 19.3 for HP. Attack is a little over 19,000 for attack, which is very, very strong, and defense is at 11.3. So let's compare this to a very old EZA, all right? Because this EZA happened a while back, and that's Int Janemba. And what the similarities to these units actually are, and very, very similar. Now the stat difference, Strength Janemba is going to have a 1-up on HP and attack. However, defense in Janemba has a little slight higher stat there. So, but overall, the stats are going to be better on Strength Janemba, but really not by much except for HP, right? So you're looking at about less than 300 for attack and an increase of a little over, what is that? 100 and 140, something like that. Comparable difference. So that's one thing. So that's one thing we have to take a look at. The leader skill really doesn't matter as much because, once again, a Neo God being a 120 is already better than the old Int Janemba, and his leader skill is only up to 90% for Int category, so I kind of leave that outside. So the super attack is going to be the edge for Strength Janemba, but not really by much because it's just massively lowers attack versus greatly lowers defense, not attack. If it was attack, it would actually be better, but massively lowers defense versus greatly lowers defense, which is a 50% debuff versus an 80% debuff, but in defense really isn't all that beneficial. Now the passive skill, the Beyond Space and the Space Domination, let's look at the similarities versus a very, very old unit versus this brand new unit coming to the JP version of the game. So you have attack and defense 100% versus attack and defense 70%. So a 30% difference is a substantial difference, but I don't say it's as substantial, right? Because they both have guard against all attacks, right? Guard activated against all attacks versus guard all attacks, same thing. And they both have a medium chance of evading enemy super attack. So they both have that 30% chance. The biggest difference here is the Strength Janemba. They get an increase of the dodge chance, 10 per every evaded attack turn. But over in the Int Janemba, it's plus an additional 40% for 4 turns when guard is activated. So when you actually look at the numbers and being that it's the 70% that gets buffed first and then the attack gets buffed afterwards, it's actually a higher increase of attack boost. It's more of a 138% attack boost versus if you just added those together and say, oh, it's 110, and 110 is just, it's only 10% more than the Strength Janemba. But even with a lower attack stat at 18.6, but you're getting a total boost of 138 versus 100. I'm thinking, I haven't tested this out yet or did anything of that sort, but just looking at paper, you're looking at either the same or more damage from Int Janemba, and all you're giving up is about 30% defense and that extra 10% per evaded within the same turn, which isn't all that amazing due to the fact that, hey, you do have a built-in dodge mechanic with Int Janemba in of itself, being an Int unit, right? So for a brand new EZA, right? For a brand new EZA coming out, and when did Int Janemba come out? Let me look this up real quick. Int Janemba. All right, let's look this up on the date that this EZA'd, right? So EZA'd on JP December 6th, 2018. So that is 2 years old, right? So 2-year-old EZA, just a little over 2 years old, and we don't really get that big of a step up, right? So if you already have a Rainbow Int Janemba, you can be pretty happy with that unit. And it would have been just nice to see something different from Strength Janemba. Maybe healing, like regeneration, right? Maybe for every damage it takes, it's 10% or something like that, or maybe even some orb changing ability or something like that. Because remember, it's only on 3 categories, And buffing these three categories, can be just very beneficial when you look at this, right? It's only on movie bosses, transformation boost, and mind and body erosion. Yes, and that just came out, right? So, and transformation boost is already tough to run Janemba on that team because there's so many other options that Janemba needs to be broken to gain that spot, right? Which it really, at this point in time, it's a great unit. I don't know if it's broken at this point in time. In movie bosses, it's fine there as well. So I don't know. Tell me what you guys think, because it's pretty lukewarm on paper. I'm sure people are going to start testing this out and you're going to see the numbers and stuff like that, but I don't think it's going to be it's going to be as good, and maybe just slightly better than in Janemba. And is that what we wanted for a EZA in 2021, where the Janemba came out in December 2018? So comment below, let me get your thoughts here, and of course, if you are new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Keep on Dokkaning, and we will catch you next time. Later.